Hello and welcome to Healing Points. My name is Pamzi Jamang. There has been a time in history when communities coexist, irrespective of ethnic, religious, or political affiliation. The symbiotic relationship made citizens see themselves as Nigerians first, and this has helped significantly in the socio-economic development of the society. However, today the story is different. People identify themselves based on ethnicity and religion, constantly exposing the fault lines. Let's hear from Angela Pam, a media fellow with our partners, Search for Common Ground.
Peace is something that is indispensable in any part of life. Without peace, we will not even be at this interview. Without peace, nobody will go to church. Without peace, nobody will go to mosque. Without peace, there will be no fun. If there is no peace, people cannot do anything. So because of this, peace should become paramount for everybody. In fact, as a person, if you are not in peace, you may die on your bed. But if you are a peaceful mind, you can rest. So beginning from ourselves to our families, and to the society around us, we should continue to emphasize this role of peace. And you will live happily. Even when you practice peace itself, you will live much happily than any other person.
Peace building has been the desire of Plateau citizens, especially in the rural communities affected by violence and all sorts of atrocities. We have gotten reports from the grassroots to the high level, giving reasons on how to sustain peace and harmony on the plateau.
Abinda nake so a gera mana wannan idan mai gona an mashi barna ya je a biya shi kudin da aka yi barna, haka muke so. Amma ba ma so yaro ya je kiwo ko ya yi barna ko bai yi barna ba, yara suna kiwo sai a dauko hukuma ya zo ya gudu da sanu, a kwace sanu a je a ajiye, sai kin je kin biya kudi a baki sanu. To mu da za mu samu a magance wannan abu a zama kamar da fitinan da ake da yanzu babu, mun zauna da mutanen mu lafiya kalau ba mu da damuwa.
So what has been your experience during the crisis in Barkin-Ladi?
Well, my past experience during this crisis, the last crisis that engulfed Barkin-Ladi, it was a terrible day for us in this community called Takok. And that day we thought that life is gone, but to the grace of God we are still existing, we are still lively in this community. Though we know that most of our majority of our people died that day, but to the grace of God, some of us are still existing. So we give God the glory for that.
Okay, thank you very much. So what is now your experience and what are your expectations now that we have relative peace in the community? What is your personal experience?
Well, my personal experience, what we desire is we need peace in this community. And secondly, some of us are homeless. If there are some assistance that shall be rendered, we need an assistance so that some of us will have a livelihood.
Okay. What is your advice to the community heads in this area or in this community in terms of peace building?
Yeah, my advice is that everybody should live peacefully. Everybody should embrace peace so that peace will reign in this community.
Ni makiyayi ne kuma ni manomi ne. Abubuwan da suke faruwa a tsakanin manoma da makiyayi shine dukkan su wani lokaci ana kan samu kuskure. Kuskuren kuma sai rashin hakuri ya faru. Kuskuren shine kamar manoma su yi noma, makiyayi suna kiwo, wani lokaci dabbobi sukan shiga gonakin manoma bisa kuskure. Wani lokaci kuma su manoman sukan toshe hanyoyin dabbobi inda suke bi su je sha ruwa, su kulle wurin kiwo gaba ɗaya, a rasa hanyoyi ko kuma a masa labi in shanu sun zo shigewa sun ɗan taɓa sai rashin hakuri ya kasance sai hasaniya ta samu a wannan wuri. To irin waɗannan abubuwan su ne suke damu mu al'umman da muke zama a wannan wuraren, amma da ikon Allah dai ana gyara wasu abubuwan, ana ɗan kokarin gyara. Wani lokaci akan zauna a yi irin wannan abun da ya taso sai a gyara shi tsakanin manoma da makiyayan.
Hearing from citizens, it is evident that peace is precious and there is that urge to live in peace. And this will bring us to the interview segment with our guest, who is a friend to the media in changing the narrative and giving the right perspectives. Hello and welcome to the interview segment of Healing Points. I am your host, Pamzi Jaman. And my guest for today has been a friendly person to the PRTV. He is the national president, Iregwe Youth Movement. He is Chingi Dodo Justice. You're welcome to Healing Points.
Thank you so much.
What went wrong? Because since you've been coexisting, don't you think there are criminal elements other than this ethnicity?
You have hit the point. Criminality is one major breeder of the conflict, and added to these issues of lack of planning by the government itself. You see, the land is never expanding, but population is on the increase. Areas that were vast and then left uncultivated, left unused, are now being put into use. And so previous government, and I think even present government, is doing nothing to foresee the situation whereby where will the herder graze his animals and where will the farmers cultivate his crops. I think that has bred the whole situation. And added to these issues such as weather, what do you call it, environmental, weather change, or climate change, let me put it like that, where in the far north increasingly there is drought and there is insufficient grass for these herders to graze, and so they keep moving downward, down south, and the more the movement, the more possibilities of attacks, the more possibility of conflict that even leads to shedding of lives and then destruction of properties as well. So many factors are left unattended to, and today we are where we are, and I'm afraid there seems to be no concrete steps taken to mitigate this in the near future.
Okay, we are aware that you have been in interface with the Peace Building Agency of Plateau State and is owned by government. There are a series of interventions that are ongoing, or there were a series of interventions. Can you tell us something about that?
Sure. When the crisis got so violent, we had various fora, various levels, engage ourselves. The leadership of the Mieti Allah through their various ARDOs, their youth wing, and then the leadership of our national leadership, that is the Iregwe Development Association, the youth wing, Iregwe Youth Movement, series of meetings from the community level to the local government, non-governmental organizations, series of interfaces, interfaith, faith-based organizations, some NGOs that are local and then some that are even foreign-based have tried to intervene. But sometimes it's like the more the intervention packages, the more the attacks. It's like at the end of the day, there is always a mockery of this attempt to bring lasting solutions to the issues that are raised. But then we as a people have decided never to give up. That we'll continue to make ourselves available so that lasting solutions can be found. And this we'll continue to do until the day that we'll truly say indeed peace has returned to Iregwe land, peace has returned to Bassa local government. The Peace Building Agency, like you said, has been playing a very, very big role. They are blessed with a DG who is indeed not just a scholar but a practitioner of peace. He has vowed and he has demonstrated unarguably that he is out to make things work for Bassa people, for Plateau people. And I think We'll continue to collaborate and cooperate with whoever that is out to bring peace to our communities, because that is what we want.
Okay, still talking about the peace building agency. Last year, I think there was a commitment that was signed for the different ethnic groups in Bassa to own the peace process, to settle their differences amicably. How has that trend?
Yes, indeed. I think based on the experiences of the last 3-4 years that I've had, I am tempted to say that peace is not an activity, it is not an event. It is what you yearn, what you work for, what you practice that gives peace. It's not about gathering people, assembling people, and you sign papers, and then it is too elitist. But when it is brought down to the grassroots, sometimes how well those who go to government house to sign these packages carry the messages to the nooks and crannies of our communities, to the hinterland, to the bushes, to the wilderness, if I may use that word, because the theater of these conflicts is in the hinterland. It is not even, for instance, in Kwol, one of the towns in Iregwe land. It is not inside Miango. It is in the hinterland, where there are arable land, where there are vast land for grazing, for farming, and for cultivation. But people think that sometimes when you invite media and you sign document, it is a sign that all is well. And then the following morning you hear two are killed, a woman and her child killed, and then all manners of things. I think it is much more than that, than just mere coming up to sign papers, and then, like you rightly say, we decided to own the whole process. And sometimes in owning the process, there are resources that are also required. So for instance, if you and Fulani and Iregwe have decided to meet, they need a comfortable place, a secure place to discuss their issues, and then who funds those things. And that goes to show that also government will also from time to time key in. But truly speaking, the peace building agency has been up and doing, and I think we salute their effort. But at the end of the day, it is left for us to now say, truly, we must stop this. The farmer must respect the herder, and the herder must also respect the farmer.
Okay, thank you very much for that elaborate explanation. Talking of owning the process now, you have traditional leaders, you are a president, a national president of a particular group that is the energetic part of the society. What are you people doing to ensure that there is internal mechanism of settling your disputes?
Sure, a lot has been done. What we do is to encourage social activities, more interactions. Let's get to understand ourselves very well. Let's get to understand our culture. Let's get to understand areas of the conflict. What is it that is breeding this conflict? Is it about cattle route? Is it about that the fact that some sites that are considered as holy site or site for some religious activities that have been trampled upon by the herders? We try to, as much as possible, engage ourselves at the level of the youth. I know I am so close to the Fulani youth in my axis, so much so that last year he aided in us securing a cow for the Christmas. So we believe that the more we engage ourselves as things we think are little, if I believe that you can help me get something, I do not get to attack you, because I know if I lose you, by extension, I'm also losing something out of the loss that you have, that you are no more. And so we try to engage ourselves. It got to a point that we wanted to even go into sports activities. We will say, let's hold on when the peace is finally there. That is where we can even go to sports activity, because sport itself, if care is not taken, can be another center or the beginning of troubles again. So rightly and truly speaking, we have been engaging the Ardos, our religious and community leaders have been engaged in one form of dialogue or the other, so much so that we are beginning to see a relapse of the killings in the last 6 weeks. We've not heard of any shedding of blood on either side.
Okay, that's a wonderful one. Now the traditional institution, they are the custodians of peace in that locality, because they know the people, they know the environment. How has been the collaboration between the traditional institutions, the youth, the women, and government?
Okay. As we speak, on Thursday, we shall be in Miango to read out agreements that we as a people, that is the Iregwe people, have reached. It's like a 16-point agreement. And we are working in conjunction. In fact, the idea was championed by His Royal Highness Ronkwaka de Brangwe Iregwe, who is the acting president Basa Traditional Council. We have been up and doing. He initiated and set up a committee that work out modalities on how to see to the return of the Fulani, that certain conditions must be followed. We want to live how we were before. Now, it might interest you to know that in the entire Iregwe land, there are no Fulanis at the moment, and yet we keep being attacked. So people now think that we don't like Fulani to stay with us. They left on their own, and we say they should come back. We do not want a situation where they come, they graze, they destroy crops, and they run away. If you want to live with me, come with your family. So that if bad thing happens, it happens to all of us. If the good are happening, it happens to all of us. So you cannot just be interested in grazing in my land and you are not interested in staying with me. So these are some of the efforts that His Royal Highness has put in. He is the head leader of the traditional institution, together with the women. The women have also, they were in the committee. Our Parent Development Association was in the committee. The youth wing was also in the committee. In fact, Iregwe Ministers Forum, that is the religious angle, was also there. So it is the entirety of the Iregwe nation. So when we put it, we sign, and then we invite the Fulani to also sign. If they don't want to sign, it shows that truly they don't want to live in peace with us, because we are saying, come back, come and build your houses, raise structures, let's live together.
Okay, that is what we are encouraging in this program. We are encouraging coexistence. As a leader of the youth, and the youths are the most energetic parts of the society, how has been the response? How has been the coordination? Because whenever the youths are the ones to either make or mar the society, how has been the coordination for you? Very, very challenging. You know, for every society there are the good, the bad, and then the ugly. I cannot claim that the Iregwe people are completely good. No, because the devil is not just after others. The devil is after everybody. So for anybody to come and claim that their people are entirely good, I don't think it's a good assertion. But as our leadership knows all this, and we are committed to winning the bad ones towards the good side. We preach to them. We practice also while we are preaching. And then we have warned that those who take the laws into their hands, we are not elected to go and protect lawbreakers, but to protect those who are promoting the law, who are doing what the law says. If you go contrary to the law, you face the music. And unfortunately, the law seems not to be working in Nigeria. People perpetrate evil, people go into criminalities, and yet they go into unpunished. And that is why today, as we speak, in the last 3-4 years, more than 600 Iregwe people have been killed. Nobody has been brought to justice. It's very unfortunate. So if we have a system that the law is working, I think people who are bad will sit up, and then some of them will even come back to live in obedience to the law. Okay, this is a solution-driven program. So what will be your recommendations? What will be the solutions to this myriad of unfortunate activities? Forgiveness. If I have offended a Fulani person, you should forgive. If a Fulani offends me, I should be able to forgive. We must stop counting the losses of the past, except where it is needed for certain things, such as compensation justice to be done. If not, if we keep repeating previous bad evils done to us, it will be trouble. So forgiveness, justice, and then the law must work. The law must not just work, it must be seen to be working. Justice must be given to those whom it is due, and then government must begin to plan ahead. The population is always on the increase. What must we do? How do we evolve modern system of agriculture that encompasses both the farmer, both the herder, and then the crop farmer, so that together we can benefit? Because I need meat, you need the crops. You know, you can't just eat meat and then live your lives, and that I cannot just be living on maize, Irish, and you also need others to also live peacefully. So
visionary leadership is what we are clamoring for here, in addition to issues of compensation and then forgiveness, and then the law must be seen to be working.
Okay, thank you very much. On a final note, just a few seconds, is there hope for healing?
Sure. There's no problem that hasn't got any solution. There is. If in the last 3 weeks we've been living fine, there is hope.
Okay, thank you very much. We have been talking with the National President, Iregwe Youth Movement. He is Chenge Dodo Justice. And we promise to bring the other ethnic groups to this studio to discuss further. And that's the much we can take for today. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
See you next week.
Peace is something that is indispensable in any part of life. Without peace, we will not even be at this interview. Without peace, nobody will go to church. Without peace, nobody will go to mosque. Without peace, there will be no fun. If there is no peace, people cannot do anything. So because of this, peace should become paramount for everybody. In fact, as a person, if you are not in peace, you may die on your bed. But if you are a peaceful mind, you can rest. So beginning from ourselves to our families and to the society around us, we should continue to emphasize this role of peace. And you will live happily. Even when you practice peace itself, you will live much happily than any other person.